For the record, Paul Dixon, Chairman, Clark County Wildlife Advisory Board. I'll claim stupidity here, and that is on this agendized item on my thing, when I looked at it, since it did follow the tag transportation permit thing, when I looked at this, we never talked about the trapping demerit points, because to be honest with you, I didn't see it because it fell at the top of the page, and I just never picked it up. So it wasn't as Jeremy said, it wasn't in the black, which it was properly noticed. If I went back and looked at things, yeah, it's properly noticed. I just didn't catch it. And because of where it fell on the page, I didn't catch it either. And so I'll take responsibility for being an idiot, but I'll just say that it wasn't clear and it was not discussed at my cab for that reason, because I didn't catch it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Joy.
For the record, Ken Joy, Nevada Bighorns Unlimited. I'd like to request that the commission take it back and bring it forth in such a way at a future date, not to leave it up to individual interpretation by hunter or enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other counties or public comment? I know that Gil and Mr. Flowers are not coming forward, but I'd like to know if you guys, how you address this item at your advisory boards, and did you address both parts of this?
Rex Flowers, Washoe County. Yes, we addressed both parts of it. We didn't miss the second notation, and we opposed the whole thing as written. We thought it was, we understand about the poacher, but the poacher is a poacher. I mean, you're going to get them on a lot of other things. You're going to have people who we have a learning curve. They're unintentionally going to make a mistake, and they're going to get dinged big time. We don't think that's fair. Looking at it, you could probably put in some sort of wording that says intentional misuse or intentionally unlawfully using a transportation tag. That might add the meat that you're looking for to get to the person who is really the poacher. On the failed to visit traps, that's too much. Six demerits. I mean, if there's no exceptions given in case of an emergency or medical reason, vehicle breakdown. If you want to get after the guy that's committing the same mistake over and over again, you go down into that number 3 at the end where it says a person convicted of committing the violation. Just eliminate after listed in the schedule set forth in subsection 1. Then it's going to read anybody who commits an ongoing violation within 60 months is going to get doubled, period. Doesn't matter if it's in this section or if it's a 3 demerit situation. It takes care of that so that you get to that person. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up. We all do have your action reports. I just want to make sure everybody in the audience understands what's going on too. So,
Giliana Carson Advisory Board. I throw myself on the mercy of the court. We just naturally looked at the item regarding demerit points as directly affecting the transportation. We really didn't discuss it with regards to trapping.
thank you.
Brad Johnston, Lyon County. I guess I should throw myself at the mercy as well, because when I went through the agenda, I did not notice the trapping issue. I glanced through the bold print, thought it was related to the transportation permit only, and we did not discuss it.
Mr. Johnson.
I don't know why I have to follow that guy all the time, my little brother, but Larry Johnson, speaking for myself, I have a concern with the 12 demerits on the transportation permit, simply because if this is willful and really is of a level that would trigger license revocation, you've already got him on 1, 2, or 3 other issues that automatically take his license away. And so I don't even see the use of doing intentional versus unintentional, simply because he's knocked out of the system anyway. I think if you made it a 6, demerit would be much more appropriate, particularly I particularly have angst over the 12 demerits when you have the witness requirement in the previous transportation portion. Thank you.
Before you sit down, Mr. Johnson.
The only thing I would point out is that in my example of a person who fills out the permit, transportation permit, and NDOW pulls them over before they've killed anything, in my mind, that is, there's been no other violations. We got them before, okay? So I do see right there in that fact pattern. And I would think that that might be one, that if a person is going to do this, and they're going to get somebody to sign off as a witness or both as a witness and the transporter, and they're going to have that in their pocket. If NDOW pulls them over, and gets hold of that, then at that point, that would be, in my mind, a 12 demerit.
And for the record, Larry Johnson, I can't disagree. Quite frankly, if it's premeditated, throw the book at him. I agree.
And I think the hardest part that we're all struggling with is we're looking at the language of this, but we haven't seen the transportation permit or the explanation that's going to come in the hunt book. And if those are clear enough, there shouldn't be any mistakes made. So, we haven't seen it. We have assumptions. I have assumptions that they're going to do a good job with the way the permit looks and with the explanation that's coming out in the hunting book also. So help us out there, Rob.
For the record, Rob Buonamici, Chief Game Warden. I got to be completely honest with you and disagree with you, Commissioner Rob. No matter how clear we make it, for the first year or two, there are going to be honest mistakes. I mean, we deal with this all the time. And we differentiate between honest mistakes and premeditated activity, criminal activity. So that's why we aren't robots out there. We got to make those decisions, and we don't have the attitude that, well, here's your ticket, we'll let the judge sort it out. Why even put somebody that's involved in a honest minor mistake through the system? So, in all honesty, there are going to be honest mistakes no matter how clear we make it. We know that. And what we normally do in those cases is a verbal warning, or we charge them with something violation that's somewhat close but less than 12 demerit points. And I'm not married to the 12 demerit points across the board by any means. Definitely, 12 demerit points, like others have said here, if it's premeditated and they've got a tag or 2 or 3 in their pocket or vehicle that are already all filled out. So, again, I think we're all on the same page, trying to differentiate the honest from the true bad guy. And then with regards to the trapping, I want that. There's no intention to be behind the scenes or not allow everybody to have input. I mean, when we first brought this up, I remember talking to Joel about it because it directly affects the trappers. And it was like, who better to talk to than Joel on those type of issues. He gets it out to the Trappers Association and everything. So I wouldn't quite honestly feel comfortable about addressing the trapping visitation, since many people miss that. Even though I'm comfortable we did our due diligence and noticed it properly, but many people missed it, so.
Commissioner Drew.
Just a question on that, Rob. I think our June meeting's like June 21st and 22nd. So if we did table that till June, it would end up being at LCB pretty much right on July 1st. And we'd have a permanent regulation at some point. Well, I mean, it goes to LCB, it comes back, we read it, and it goes back again, right?
If we tabled it till the June meeting, it goes to LCB as a temporary regulation.
Oh, so we actually
Then
have to
we have
authorize
to
it
submit
after July 1.
a permanent regulation.
So when you say submit it, it's not when you hand it to LCB, it's when we approve it.
Well, it's when we submit it to LCB. Right now, this is submitted as a temporary. So they're going to take action on this as a temporary regulation. Just because they receive it on July 2nd as a temporary, they're not going to automatically make it a permanent. We have to go through the permanent regulatory process as opposed to the temporary regulatory process.
Any other questions? Commissioner Lane?
I understand the issues in notification. I guess my concern is I'm troubled by the fact that the commission, before we kind of got stopped today and decided not to take and decided that we weren't going to take action with the legislation, said that we voted against the bill that talked about 24-hour visitation. And now we're probably not going to take action on this discussion that talks about providing demerits if you don't meet the 96-hour visitation. I think it just presents a picture that I'm not really comfortable with in terms of trapping visitation. And that's my concern, and it's my concern because the legislature's meeting right now. That's the only point I will make.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. I don't like having this come up. It doesn't look good for me. Commissioner Drew went over it. We've all looked at the agenda, and we all missed it the way it was written. I knew what was in there. I believe Commissioner Drew knew what was in there. But obviously, the county advisory boards didn't know what was in there, and I think properly public notice is the way to go about business, and I don't like doing anything without everybody on the same page.
Just to address that point a little further, first of all, I'm not completely comfortable with the transportation permit portion of this, so I'm not completely comfortable with any of the changes that are developed right now. I think rushing a regulation through for the sake of looking good to the legislature is a mistake. I think taking the time to do the right thing is the more prudent course, and that's just my opinion.
Anybody else have any comment? Any other public comment on this? Seeing none, we'll close that agenda item, and we're going to take a 5-minute break.